Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 28th. We are going to jump right in here, Libra. You have this tricky situation card. It says a sly, subtle approach is necessary in order to safely navigate a tricky situation. You have this temptation card. It says what is tempting you at this moment may not be a wise choice. Very interesting. I literally said to Aquarius this morning, Libra, that this week feels like a devil week to me. And I literally said that to them. You can go watch their reading as well if you want. But here's the thing about this week. I don't know what it is. I don't know like what's going on to cause this or whatever. I don't really think this is a bad thing. What I think it is that we need to not listen to that little voice in the back of our heads that says you can't do this, you can't do that, right? So that's what I mean by a devil week. And like I said, I literally said this to Aquarius that it's kind of like there is something about this week that I think could be people listening to like the wrong voice inside their head. And so definitely something that I would be very careful of. I think that the temptation could be like, I'll do this later, right? It's like sometimes I think, the devil, right, in quotes here, kind of tempts us by saying like, oh, you don't have to, take care of that problem right now. You can put this off. You can put that off. So I kind of get the energy that things should not be put off till later in this reading. Like if there's something that you can take care of right now, I would, take care of it immediately. I just think, again, I don't think this is really like bad or scary, but I felt this and I just feel like taking care of things quickly and not letting them boil over or not putting things off is going to be very important. And like I said, this is a theme that has come up for everyone. I didn't notice it until the Aquarius reading. I was like, oh my God, I know what this is. And, so I get these collective messages when I do these readings, but, sometimes I don't realize it till later. So, I didn't realize that this was going to be a collective energy until like Aquarius. So definitely something I'd pay attention to, Libra. Anything that is toxic, I would avoid this week for sure, Libra. I would be very careful of, any people, places, and things that are toxic for you or that are bad for you. The devil, I think, gets a bad rap in the tarot. Really, he's just kind of like can be an energy vampire as well. And I say that he gets a bad rap because it's easy to avoid an energy vampire. Just don't be around an energy vampire, and you will be fine. You have the King of Wands. The King of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, making things happen. Again, right here, we go King of Wands to the Three of Wands, King of Wands to the Fool. The Fool and the Three of Wands are both about taking a leap of faith. The Fool says you have to take a leap of faith. Three of Wands is my card that says, what are you waiting for, right? So do not wait. Do not let that little voice in the back of your head say you can put this off till tomorrow. You can take care of this issue next week. No, do it now. I feel, King of Wands is very like straightforward, hardworking. He's motivated. He gets things done. And having that attitude this week, especially with things that are important that shouldn't be put off, that's going to be important for whatever reason. You have the Fool. I feel like you're over-prepared for something. Sometimes I do feel the Fool is over-prepared. He has this little sack on his back here, Libra, and that he's going through the entire major arcana. And so that tiny little sack kind of says that he has everything he needs right here, right between his two ears, right? So he is kind of like over-prepared for a journey. He's not under-prepared. He has everything he needs. So again, with the Three of Wands, what are you waiting for? Time to get started, time to get moving, and I feel you will be happy that you did. The other thing is that he has this white rose here. The white rose in the tarot represents pure intentions, and that's the other thing with the Devil card is that you should probably really be looking at someone's intentions. Like anyone that you're dealing with this week, it doesn't have to be love, right? Is what I'm trying to spit out here. It could be in business or work or whatever. I would make sure that you understand like what the people that you're dealing with. I would make sure that you understand like what they really want with you. And I would get very clear on exactly what their expectations are, right? With the Devil, you have the Moon. Yeah, the Moon is a lack of clarity. The Moon can represent fears, fantasies, illusions, things like that. So definitely a need to get down to, the facts here of any situation. It's like this doesn't even have to be a bad thing. It's like, sometimes I think we can like meet people in love, for example, and it's like maybe they tell us they want a relationship, but really they just want fun bedtime. I don't know. I can't say anything on YouTube anymore. So, I don't know, use your imagination, but right, it's like sometimes that's what they really want, which is fine. But it's wrong if they don't tell you that up front. If that's what they really want, they should just say it, right? And so I feel like this moon is saying that, and that's just one example. I think could be a lot going on for you this week, Libra, where you really need to figure out like what's below the surface with people. Again, the moon says explore, ask the right questions, talk to them, and figure it out. Your intuition will also tell you what this person really wants, or people in life. With the King of Wands, you have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, it's definitely time for you to get started on something with that Three of Wands. And also the Chariot as well. If you've been thinking about taking advantage of an opportunity with two aces right here, or if you've been thinking about having a new beginning, it's definitely time for you to have a new beginning. The other thing I would look at with like just all this energy here, Libra, is I would say like, there's clearly something you want. Like we'll put that over here. It's like this type of person. We'll say that my hand is what Libra really wants to be, right? And it's like maybe this is where you are. You're going on this journey. But I think that like there's a question that you should ask yourself this week. Like everything that you're doing, would this Libra over here, would they do it? Whatever you're doing, like your habits, the things that you say, the people you spend time with, would the future successful version of Libra do do the thing that you're being asked to do over here? I hope that makes sense. But if the answer is no, then I clearly would not do whatever it is, right? With the Fool, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, do not have regrets in the future. Five of Cups is a card of regrets, and I think that giving in to the devil on your shoulder would be a little bit of a regret this week. So I don't give in to the I can't do this, I can't do that. Like I said, that's more the energy I get for the collective this week. It's not so much like devil energy as in a bad person, although it could be for you. So I would be careful of that, but it's more just that devil on your shoulder that says like, oh, you can pay that bill next week, even though you know that you should probably pay it right now, or take care of this issue next week, right? It's like that type of energy. So that and again, I always tell people, it's like people accuse me of being too positive. I'm like, I'm not positive. I'm just pointing out things that you can avoid. Tarot is not a prison sentence. You're watching this reading so you can hopefully avoid these things. And I'm not being too positive. I'm telling you how to avoid those things. So again, I would make sure that you avoid any future regrets. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this card. It says your dreams need a practical plan. This is the full moon in Taurus. You also have the new moon in Taurus, which says prosperity lies ahead. So yeah, coming up with a plan. I think your plan needs to be the hand Libra, is what we're going to call it. This Libra over here, right, is you need to say, like, are the things I'm doing adding up to this over here, me, in the future? And that is the plan that you should be following with these cards. Like, what would future Libra do? Is the question that you need to be asking yourself, and that's probably the plan that you need to follow. But definitely could be a lot of success. It is still a good reading. You have the Chariot, Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Six of Cups. Really good stuff. So, I would make sure that you're following a plan. You have the Chariot, the Three of Wands, and the Six of Cups. The Chariot can be a victory or a success. The whole point of the Chariot is that he is setting himself apart. He's leaving the city behind him and he doesn't really know where he's going. He has these stars up here, these moons right here. They represent as above, so below. And then you have these two sphinxes here, and they are guiding the Chariot in a direction, and they are not attached to the Chariot because he is in alignment. So they represent the mysteries of the universe, and because he's in alignment with the future Libra, he knows that the universe is going to bring him in the right direction. So all you have to do this week is be in alignment. Would future Libra, not take care of an issue right away and just let it build up into this big issue in the future? No. So act as if you already are your future self is what this reading really wants you to do. And I feel if you do that, you will have victories and wins. I also do get moving here. I'm not saying that you're going to move right now, but I do feel like some of you are either thinking about moving or planning a move. I also say that because you have the Three of Wands. It's like Three of Wands is kind of like looking at an opportunity. And he's looking at this water with these boats on it. So he has the opportunity to go on an adventure, which could include a move. So I kind of feel like some of you are either like planning on moving in the future or you're thinking about it. And I would say that you probably will, just based off this reading. So if you're thinking about it, you're probably going to do it anyway. There's your answer. The Three of Wands also says, like, what are you waiting for? It really says, especially going this way, up to the Hierophant, that there are some blessings that you could probably have, like, right now or very shortly. But you have to take some sort of leap of faith to get them. The whole point of the Three of Wands is that he could easily get on those boats and go on an adventure. But the boats are traveling into the unknown. And you have the moon. The moon is about traveling into the unknown, but it also represents fears. So usually we fear what we don't know. And the Three of Wands just says, well, you have to go find out. There is no good answer. You have to face the fear and do it anyway, as they say. And that's exactly the energy I'm getting on that Three of Wands. You have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups, there has been a lot of what I would call childlike energy in the readings. So being more playful, not taking things too seriously. Children ask a lot of questions. They're curious. They're willing to go on adventures. They just want to have fun. All that stuff I feel is very important at this time for whatever reason. It comes up for like everyone. So clearly it's something that the universe is trying to get people to focus on. The other thing about the Six of Cups is that sometimes I feel it can be a gift from the universe. And usually the gift we are getting from the universe with the Six of Cups is a turnaround, meaning we are like overcoming an obstacle or we are overcoming some sort of challenge and then we're moving forward. So you could be kind of like overcoming an obstacle with this Six of Cups energy. With the Chariot, what do you know? You have the Star. And the Star is like a wish, something that you want to accomplish. The star is about having a goal. It's about having a North Star, picking one thing and making it happen and making it your focus. So I think it would be a great time for you to like pick a goal or something that you want to achieve and just align with that goal and you will accomplish it probably faster than you think with the Hierophant. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You're going to have to put the work in, but looks really good to me. With the Three of Cups, you have the Six of Cups again. So whenever we have repeating cards, it's basically the universe saying I meant what I said. So definitely could be like a turnaround, needing to embrace that childlike energy. I would also say with the Devil, sometimes I feel with the Six of Cups, like these children are being protected by a guard and also these castle walls. So if you have like any ideas or plans, it basically says keep your plans to yourself, right? Don't be careful who you tell. It's like sometimes we tell people like what we want to do and then people point out what's wrong with it and then we don't do it, right? So, it's like one of those things. We have to be careful of who we tell what to and we just have to be careful of that because if they say something and then we don't do it because of what they said, then we never do it. So I would protect your ideas. With the Six of Cups, you have two cards, the Death card and the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, just get to work, right? The Death card is a card of transformation and change. The Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. You have two cards, the new moon in Taurus and the full moon in Taurus. They both represent being practical. The Eight of Pentacles is a very practical card. It is just like straightforward, diligent work. And it's also simple work as well. I was kind of going to say that on the Taurus cards, but that card says your dreams need a practical plan. Practical being the key word. Just keep it simple. Like whatever you're trying to accomplish, don't make it overcomplicated. I think doing the simple thing is the answer. And that's what I would do with those two cards. Next in the area, messages from your future self. You have this Owl Spirit. It says you see clearly now. And you also have this Ant Spirit. It says time to collaborate with the right people, I would say. I would add that on to the end of that. We definitely are getting clarity. We're past all the retrograde craziness. And, I think everybody could be just seeing things more clearly. The Ant Spirit, I think it is a great time for collaboration. As I always say, Pluto in Aquarius is all about benefiting the collective. So I definitely encourage people to collaborate at this time. I think it's a little bit tricky of a time to collaborate, this year and kind of like next year as well, because there are some things going on that I think could cloud our vision when it comes to working with other people. Like we might not see things or we might be overly trusting, right? So that doesn't say don't collaborate. It just says pay attention. And also pay attention to someone, pay attention to your intuition, but also pay attention to people's intentions and like get to the bottom of it. Like don't accept someone's first answer, right? And really pay attention, to that. And then you can understand where people are coming from, and then you won't make mistakes. You have the Hierophant, the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. I kind of just feel blessings on this Hierophant. Again, he's making this symbol right here. That symbol represents a blessing. He's blessing these two people in front of him. So you definitely could be receiving some blessings, and it could just be an opportunity with the two aces here. I also feel that there's something about you leveling up here, Libra. The thing about the Eight of Pentacles is that the Eight of Pentacles is mastering your craft. The Hierophant is the card of like mastery. He has these 3 stages to his staff here, 3 stages to his crown, and those 3 stages are apprenticeship, initiation, apprenticeship, and mastery. So a lot of you could be kind of like mastering your craft at this time, or you could be mastering something in your life, and I feel it'll be very good. You have the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups can represent a love offer, of course, and there definitely is love showing up here. I mean, we go down here to the Page of Cups. We have the King of Swords, 6 of Cups. So if you're looking for love, this could be a person who is like really overflowing with love for you, or maybe the two of you are. It looks good. I'm kind of wondering if you're, like, some of you might be dealing with multiple people. Some of you might be being approached by multiple people. I would say like the entire month of May. I know this week is, the end of April or whatever, but from the time that you're watching this, I'm doing this video on April 23rd. So I'm publishing it on the 24th. From whenever you watch it through the entire month of May, again, there could be a lot of people. I think it's about like honesty, but not that people are lying. Again, I don't think sometimes people lie. I think they just don't really say what they want, right? And so I think asking the right questions to get to what they really want, and just being okay if really what they want is bedroom fun time, as we said. If that's what they really want, that's fine. Doesn't make them a bad person, but, as long as they tell you the truth, right? And then you can make the right decision. You could say, that's not what I want. I'm going to go find someone else, right? So I would just be getting down to brass facts here this week, and I would be getting to the truth. You have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles could be like a big opportunity coming in for you. And I would really be nurturing any opportunities that are coming in, especially in work. The Ace of Pentacles, it needs to be nurtured into existence. It needs to be kind of raised like a baby. I always look at it as a card of like a garden. There's a garden right here. You have to water it, fertilize it, feed it, give it sunlight. And as long as you nurture it, then things will go well. And that's what I would do with that Ace of Pentacles energy. With the Hierophant, you have the 4 Cups. There is a true blessing coming in, and maybe you are wondering if it is or it isn't. 4 Cups says you've been disappointed by things in the past. And so he's got these 3 cups in front of him, and he's being offered this other cup, but he's not accepting it into his life because he's been disappointed before. I always say the easy solution to the 4 Cups is to realize that you have all the ingredients for success. Even if these cups hurt you in the past, they have taught you something that will help you avoid it again with this right here. So you need to look at the lessons you learned and say, how can I apply these things moving forward in my life? And that's what I would do with that card. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Ace of Cups. Definitely a big opportunity, and probably in love. If you don't want love, it's probably something that you will love that causes you to overflow. The other thing about the Ace of Cups is it's about getting into the flow. We are in a critical time where I believe everyone needs to be in the flow. If you are doing things you hate, you're going to have a very hard time. If you're doing things that steal your energy, you are going to have a really hard time. So the Ace of Cups is about doing more of those things that get you into the flow. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Hierophant. Again, definitely could be like the blessing of an opportunity, or, the blessing of receiving an opportunity that you've been asking for. Sometimes with the Hierophant, I feel that the Hierophant is saying that we have been praying for something. And with the Ace of Pentacles, it's like you've been praying for something that you're going to get. So that looks amazing, Libra. Next, in the area of the good stuff, You have this community card and this poised card. I love this poised card. There's like this lady fairy thing that's being lifted up on a pedestal. So you really could be growing and, experiencing a lot of like attention at this time. I feel your community is going to be important, but mostly surrounding yourself with the right people, not the devils in your life, right? So people who lift you up, people who come from a place of love and abundance, not like fear. And, I would be avoiding people who come from a place of fear. As I always say, I don't think that people who come from fear are bad people, but I do think there are times in life where we have to avoid them because, again, if you have like a friend, they might not be a bad person, but maybe they hate on every single idea you have, but they're coming from fear. So it might be a good week to avoid those people. Doesn't mean you have to cut them out forever, just this week. And, you need to avoid them, or just don't share your ideas with them, right? Spend time with them, do whatever you want, but I would make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. You start with the 5 Wands. Surround yourself with the right people. 5 Wands is conflict and competition. It's coming up in the good stuff, but don't create conflicts that don't need to happen, right? The 5 Wands in the good stuff can also say that you are standing out above the competition. So if you have a job, a career, or anything else, you could be getting a lot of attention, or you could be really standing out at this time. You have the King of Swords. I do feel like this could be a person that some of you Libra people are attracting. They could be very airy. I mean, I think air with air is fine. So it could be like a person who, they might not be an air sign. You always get fire, and you start with the King of Wands. So it could be like an airy fire sign. It could just be an airy person in general. But I do feel that, this could be the person you're attracting. King of Swords can be like older, more mature, very successful. So, definitely would be a good person. You have the Page of Cups. I kind of feel like between now and like May, like I said, it seems to me like there's a lot of attention for you, Libra, this month. Like I would say from whenever you watch this reading till the end of May, probably longer. And so there could be a lot of admirers coming in for you, but I do feel like one will stand out. The other thing is like, here's the thing about this person here is I feel like this person's very disciplined. Like maybe that's a thing that stands out to you is like this person can hold back. They don't just give in to their desires, and maybe that's something that will kind of stand out to you the most. I also feel like they're more reserved. I would also say with the 5 of Wands, is like if you're dating, it's like maybe this person doesn't even worry about the competition. So it's like, if you're dating if you go on like multiple dates this month, it's like maybe you notice that like a couple of the people are super competitive, like in a bad way, and maybe this person's just like whatever, so it definitely stands out to me. With the 5 of Wands, you have the 6 of Pentacles. Can't make it up. I mean, it's like this guy is giving to the right people, not the wrong people over here. You can't make this up because this guy right here has something in his back pocket. What have we been talking about this whole time? Like we basically have been talking about ulterior motives. It just, the way I see it in my head is like here and here. It's like there are going to be people this month, and I know this is weekly reading, but I feel like I need to talk about the whole month. There are going to be people where it's like they tell you this up here, but they don't tell you underneath. They don't tell you like what their true motives are, right? And so that's what you need to pay attention to. It's very clear to me, if you can't tell, that you need to be careful of that. With the King of Swords, you have the High Priestess. This could be an intuitive connection, like you feel it more intuitively, or maybe you literally communicate with this person intuitively, like you're thinking about them and they text you, or vice versa. So I would pay attention to that. I would just, in general, outside of love, I would be, trusting your intuition this month, the entire month, even though it's a weekly reading, doesn't matter. You have the High Priestess and the Hierophant here. I like these two better than the Emperor and the Empress. It's like a more spiritual connection, those two. They're more spiritually connected. They're more divinely guided. So if you want love, that's good. But it could also just be energy that you're using. You're like mastering your craft and using your intuition to get ahead this week. With the Page of Cups, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Really good. A lot of Wheel of Fortune energy recently, and this could say that fortunes are turning in your favor or things are going very well for you at this time. So I just feel pretty good about that in general. You have this Candle card. It says you will be shown the way. Yeah, trust your intuition. I mean, we have the moon to the star. The moon is a lack of clarity, but the star is that guiding light, that thing that moves you forward, that thing that you can point at. Even on a dark night, you can see the big-ass star above your head, and that's what you need to use as your guiding light. You have this Eye card. It says psychic ability, trust your intuition, High Priestess. We already said it. definitely a week for you to like really tap into that intuition of yours. You have this finger. It says warning you of a problem either now or in the future. We talked about this problem. The problem is that devil energy. So that's like the one fly in the ointment in your reading here, and it's definitely something that you need to pay attention to. You have this archway. It says new opportunities and possibilities and paths opening up. Ace of Pentacles for sure. The Ace of Pentacles has an archway in the background. So there's clearly some really good opportunities that are opening up for you at this time. Again, I would keep those plans to yourself, and that's it. You have this tulip. It says great passion. Yeah, definitely could be a very passionate person coming in for you. I really feel like there's like something about like you could be meeting multiple people for some of you. It might only be one person, but you need to be like open. The thing about the King of Swords is, again, I feel like this is the type of person where it's like I think it'll be obvious, but I don't know what resistance I'm feeling here. Like I don't know if you feel like they're boring or if you feel like they're too direct or something like that, but I don't know. It's like one of those things. It's like I think that there will be one person, King of Swords, where it's like there is no level. It's like they're just boom right here. they just are who they say they are, and that's what you should be paying attention to, obviously. But this looks really good here, Libra. I like this a lot. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.